Mini Eggs Rocky Road as a work of art.
So Francis has just done a really good not an argument, I'm sorry, did a really good interview with Barbara Kay. And what's really so refreshing about this is that she's laid out what we want as a result of all of our demonstrations and arguments and all of it considered. Now we know what we want. She's a leader. And she's laid it out. And she said the obvious things. What we want are retractions from the newspapers, especially the major ones that printed, let's call it misinformation. That's a good word these days. People don't like misinformation. Well, there was a lot of misinformation in a lot of different places. And we want retractions on all of it and deserve it. I'd like to hear an argument as to why we wouldn't, because they caused all kinds of damage to people psychologically and financially. It was because of the Kamloops hoax. There's a lot of giveaway of power and land and money to First Nations groups that might not otherwise have happened. And the whole thing was a lie. It was an obvious lie. So retractions is one. We want apologies. Apologies for disrupting the Canada that much. What it did was it created more hatred towards white people from everybody in Canada, actually. Because if you're saying that our ancestors did these things, then that's hate speech, actually. You're encouraging people to hate us. And it worked. And it worked with First Nations people. And now that we know that the whole thing is a hoax, it's kind of flipped, and First Nations people look bad. And if they don't have any choice other than to continue looking bad, or to apologize. The ones that made untrue statements, unreasonable statements, need to make apologies. And so do the newscasters, so do the politicians, and so do the teachers. This is what is owed to the country, as far as we're concerned. Compensation for people who lost their jobs, compensation for people that were slandered, reinstatement, So if you lost your job for a year, you should be compensated for that. If you lost it, and then you should get your job back. They should pay you for the time that you're out and you get your job back. And there should be an annulment from the governments of Canada's admission of a genocide. Because, as Barbara Kay puts it so well, it's fruit of a poison tree. Because part of the calculus for deciding that Canada had committed genocide was the Kamloops story. And it was not just the Kamloops story. There's been a lot of misinformation resulting from the way that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report was done. For a start, we want return of the funds. Any First Nation or any group whatsoever that got money as a result of this, it could be perhaps even like a counseling organization. They've all set up all these things. Well, if you're so freaked out because of what just happened, then you can talk to these counselors, right? People that are getting out of university, they can't really do much. They go to work as counselors for people who are traumatized by the Kamloops story. I'm sorry, I'm being ridiculous. You couldn't ask for that bad. And reprimands. People should be reprimanded for this. So that lays it out, right? That's what we deserve, and that's what we're asking for. And Francis is a leader for pointing it out today with Barbara Kay. Sorry. Too fast. Too fast. Too fast. I could salvage it by getting down over here. Maybe kitchen some flowers in there. Pretty nice, isn't it? Ooh, spring, baby.